Hello everybody, my name is Brady and we are back with another React video, and today we're going to be doing more Hamilton. Today we have Adam's Administration, and you guys recommended if you're going to do this song, you gotta do the version with the cut rap in it, which I'm very excited about. Full disclosure, I kind of like John Adams. Wait. I kind of like him as a subject of study. I don't think he's a good person. He's not a nice dude. Here's a thing about John Adams. No, actually, better yet, here's a thing about the Founding Fathers. They're all turned into like these gods. It's kind of weird what we've done to them. Even with Hamilton, I don't feel like we can reach Hamilton. We can try, but I don't think we can ever really know who Hamilton was. We can do our best, but it's hard to be sure. He was so guarded, just like a lot of people from the founding generation. Jefferson, oh, he was totally guarded. Washington, he was probably the most guarded. It's so hard to reach them personally. I don't get that with John Adams. I feel like I know John Adams. I don't like what I found. I don't think he's a nice dude. But there is something about how human he is among all the founding fathers who are turned into these deities that I find him so much fun to learn about, warts and all. That's kind of how I view him. I mentioned in the past that I like John Adams, and you guys are like, oh, I want to hear your take on that. It's not a particularly defensive take you're going to get. I know all of John Adams' flaws. I kind of like him regardless because he's such a prick. It's kind of a funny experience, but also there are these emotional moments you find with him because he was so deeply insecure that really make him such a human. I don't know how far we're going to get into him specifically in this. He's not actually in the musical, but we'll see what happens. Let's get this started.
Hamilton, the short-tempered protean, creator of the Coast Guard, founder of the New York Post, ardently abuse his cabinet post, destroy his reputation. Welcome, folks, to the Adams Administration.
I love how he becomes just... his little introductions for Hamilton just are like kind of tired of it. Like, it's not in his voice. It's just like... he doesn't seem like he's bothering to get all the stuff together in a way that sounds good. He's just like, creator of the Coast Guard, founder of the New York Post, and he's just trying to fit everything in there because he really did a whole lot. I mentioned the New York Post in a previous thing. He ends up using that to attack the Jefferson administration because him and Jefferson, they could get down with a newspaper war.
Jefferson's the runner-up, which makes him the vice president.
Washington can't help you now, no more Mr. Nice President.
Adams fires Hamilton, privately calls him Creole bastard in his taunts.
Say what?
Hamilton publishes his response.
So there's a lot to unpack here because I said in the past that Adams fired Hamilton, and you guys told me I'm wrong. Hamilton resigned. So I'm going to break this down a little bit because I think we were talking about different things. I want to make sure this is very clear. First of all, the Creole bastard thing, just to get that out of the way, I think that comes from like a later letter from Adams. He was talking about a lot of crap about Hamilton long after he was dead. He could really hold a grudge, and that grudge was real. Adams hated Hamilton more than anything in the world, it seemed. So as far as the firing part, let me get into that. And this may be a poor choice of words, but I'm going to defend this. So Hamilton, he's in Washington's cabinet, and then he resigns. He's not fired. When Adams gets in, he keeps Washington's old cabinet, which Hamilton is not on anymore. So how could he have fired him? Well, I'm not talking about the cabinet position. I'm talking about his position as head of the army. So when Adams gets into office, he needs a new head of the army. Who does he go to? Not Hamilton. He goes to Washington. What does Washington do? He doesn't want to be head of the army. So he takes the position and basically gives all the work to other people and his top guy ends up being Hamilton, who is de facto the head of the army. By the time 1800 comes around, Adams is backing off of potential war with France, which Hamilton was kind of on board for because he'd be head of the army, leading the charge. It's kind of his dream. It's his chance to be Washington. It's probably good that he didn't get to do that because he wanted to attack Spain as well, and I think he was in over his head. But what Adams does, he disbands the army, and then Hamilton gives in his resignation. So you might be saying like, oh, Hamilton resigned, so he wasn't fired. Well, this is kind of how politics works in the United States. Very rarely are people flat out fired. What your boss will do, your political boss, they'll come in and be like, I'm asking you to quit. You can quit on your own terms and you can walk away with a little dignity, and I won't look like a tyrannical boss guy, or this can get ugly. And most of the time, people will opt to just resign themselves. I still consider that firing. If you're asked to resign in politics, you're basically being fired. So maybe you could disagree with my choice of fired as a word, but the fact is, Adams disbanded the army and basically made Hamilton's position obsolete, forcing his resignation. So you could say Hamilton was fired. You could also say maybe that's not the best choice of words, but I'm kind of just defending my mistake from the past. I made a lot of mistakes in my older videos and some more recent ones. I try to be more humble about it. Like the Charles Lee thing when I said he wasn't from the South. That was a mistake. That was a flat out mistake. That guy moved to Philadelphia after the war. That was silly. But in this case, I will stand by the fact that Hamilton was fired. Wow, that was a long one. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the song.
Creole bastard and his taunts. Say what?
Sorry. But yes, we're doing this. The Creole bastard insult, it feels kind of weird coming from Adams. It feels weirdly low, and he could go low, but that sort of racial thing, like he has a lot of implications, like Hamilton might have been half black or something, and I think he's kind of leaning into that, although that insult comes later on in life. I think I kind of compare it. I don't know if you guys remember the Kramer incident, the guy from Seinfeld. He had a stand-up set. He was being heckled by a black guy, and he ends up calling him the N-word. I think that in that moment, Kramer was like defensive and he wanted to hit this person with something that really hurt. And honestly, it felt out of character for him. It just didn't feel like it was, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was a closet racist the whole time. But I felt like it came from a place of like, I just want to hurt this person. So he went low. And I feel like that's where Adams goes in relation to Hamilton. Hamilton made him go low, lower than he would typically go. And Adams could go pretty low.
Hamilton publishes
That's just my opinion.
Response.
An open letter to the fat, arrogant, anti-charismatic, national embarrassment known as President John Adams.
So this letter, this is gonna circulate around with Federalists and stuff, and Hamilton has been kind of undermining Adams since the beginning. Since the first election, he kind of lobbied against Adams, not because he had anything against Adams in particular, but he wanted to make sure Washington got in. And then later on, he kind of lobbies for Pinckney, who he wants that to be his guy. So that ends up undermining Adams as well. For most of the time, Adams isn't really the factor. Hamilton just wants somebody who's not Adams. For a while, it seemed like they had a lot of potential to get along. Really, in a lot of ways, they were not that different. It's weird, the rivalry they got, and it ends up destroying both of them.
The man's irrational. He claims that I'm in league with Britain in some vast international intrigue. Bitch, please.
The international intrigue thing where Hamilton had some sketchy British contacts. That's a thing. He had a lot of sketchy contacts, but I don't think he was conspiring to bring back the British. And that's what a lot of the Republican press was trying to say about him. He's going to bring back the British. He likes the monarchy, blah, blah, blah. Because he did talk about initially wanting a monarchy at the Constitutional Convention. That comes back to him. So yeah. it's natural that they would assume kind of the worst of him because they're his political enemies. He's basically Satan. Abigail Adams calls him Satan, basically calls him the devil. So, yeah. But John Adams, he was a bit delusional about it, I would say. At times, you could question his sanity. He might have been blinded with anger by Hamilton.
You wouldn't know what I'm doing. You're always going berserk, but you never show up to work.
He had a temper every once in a while.
Next time you write about my lack of moral compass, at least I do my job up in this rumpus. The line is behind me, I crossed it again. Well, the president lost it again. Oh, such a rough life. Better run to your wife. You're the bosses in Boston again. Let me ask you a question. Who sits at your desk when you're in Massachusetts? They were calling you a dick back in '76, and you haven't done anything new since.
I would not say that Adams hasn't done anything new. In this point, he had a huge role in building the Navy. He's enabled Hamilton to build the army that he wanted. I don't know what to comment on because they do mess around with the timeline so much. I don't know if this rap is just a flat-out condemnation of Adams' entire legacy or something, or I'm not sure. But like he works on a lot of state constitutions, which inspired the constitution that they currently have. Adams did a lot. Let's be real. He doesn't get a lot of credit for it.
With no sense, you'll die of irrelevance.
Washington can't help you now. No more.
Sorry. He stepped on my keyboard. He got excited.
With Britain in some vast instance, going berserk with moral compass. At least I do my job up in this rumpus. The lines is in Boston again. Let me ask you a question. Who sits at your desk when you're in Massachusetts? They were calling you a dick back in '76, and you haven't done anything new since. Nuisance with no sense. You'll die of irrelevance. Go ahead, you can call me the devil. You spot him. I love you. Spot
there it is.
Say hi to the Jeffersons and the spies all around me. Maybe they can confirm. I don't care if I kill my career with this letter, confining you to one term, you fat mother.
Hamilton's out of control.
Oh god, that is really good. He's really leaning in on the fat jokes. The spies. I wonder what that specifically refers to. I know Adams' cabinet had a couple guys who were a little bit more loyal to Hamilton than they were to John Adams. That's another reason why Adams hated him. So maybe he's talking about the spies that are following him. I don't know about the spies around him as much. I'm not sure where that fear comes from. Maybe there is something there, but I'm not familiar with it.
Spies all around me, maybe they can confirm. I don't care if I kill my career with this letter, confining you to one term, you fat mother.
Hamilton's out of control.
This one's great.
This is great. He's out of power.
I agree.
He holds no office, and he just destroyed President John Adams, the only other significant member of his party.
Hamilton is a host unto himself. As long as he can hold a pen, he's a threat. Let's let him know what we know.
So now we're going to be going into the Reynolds pamphlet? No, we have to do the thing where they confront him. Okay, that will be the next one. I'm excited about that one. There's some new stuff on that stuff that I have talked about a little bit in previous videos on Hamilton. There's some new scholarship that's playing around with the Reynolds affair, and there are new theories that I don't know if I buy into completely, but I'm very excited to see where scholarship goes on the subject, because we're starting, like, Tiller Mazzeo, who did the first major biography on Eliza Hamilton, has some interesting ideas on it that totally go against the normal, I guess, common belief on it, which, like, I don't know if there's enough on it yet for me to jump onto her side, but I'm definitely going to be talking about it a little bit in the following videos. Thank you guys for watching. This was cool. I'm sorry, I go on tangents when it comes to John Adams, I guess. Him and Hamilton, the relationship was so complicated. You can tell I really love the drama between the two by how lost I get at times talking about it. But there's just so much. I'm excited to continue, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Let me know if there's any other history-related stuff that you want me to check out, you want me to talk about. And yeah, that's all. Like, comment, subscribe, become a channel member, damn it, and buy a sticker. Birdmom would be very happy if you did. See you guys. Bye.